Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. This is our recap from last week's live stream where we basically just did a whole lot of logistics. Yeah. We're going to start off with our Callisto lander out here in orbit of Jupiter, where we were setting ourselves up to make another gravity assist flyby of our target moon of Callisto. We're actually coming up on the deadline for this thing in like a year. It was a contract mission that we took in like the 80s, and I think it expires in 1996. So we actually do have to get some work in on this one, and maybe just try some neat tricks to speed up the rate at which we are slowing ourselves down to hit orbit. This next flyby will have a fairly significant effect on our flight path, but it's probably not really going to be enough, and I think we're getting something like 2 flybys, maybe 3 flybys a year. I don't think that we're within that range to pull off this landing within the contract allotted time. So we will be investigating this more closely as we come up to our next flyby, not this one that we're getting ready to look at, but probably the one after that we will set up towards the end of, well, after we've exited the SOI. So an inclination change burn has been made, and I am now just plotting out other nodes, seeing about where we can make our next move and how we can maybe adjust this flyby to either get us in orbit or get us a whole lot closer to where we need to be. But nothing really comes up right, so I think I'll put off some of the change of logistical things into, like I said, the next flyby. So we're going to dial up flight computer, program in a whole bunch of stuff to radio in some sciencey bits, just in case we hit a biome in our flyby that we've not yet covered, which is always a possibility, seeing as how we've only done like 20 flybys of this by now. But not a single landing, and certainly nothing polar, or close to it, I should say. So we'll time warp on in, just make sure that our science things are okay, and then promptly get our connection blocked by Callisto itself. So anything we do get, well, we have a fresh batch of actual science in our experiments. I guess I could have transferred it out using ship manifest, but it didn't occur to me at the time. Well, note for the future. Way to go, buddy. And then we will make our close approach. Nothing particularly dangerous, although I did fire the thrusters a little bit because I'm a weenie. And we'll get clear and start to transmit in our little bit of data. So we actually did get some pretty significant information there on yet another unique biome, and then we'll go ahead and exit the SOI and start to plot for our next encounter. We're just kind of looking for one that's cheap and free because that makes things easy. Not finding one, we'll go ahead and try to dial in something approximating that, and it does give us a little bit of a nice little bump and assist, but it's still a couple hundred meters per second to get that encounter. I thought our inclination change would have solved that, but anyway, we've got other things to do, so we'll set the alarm and then jump back to the astronaut complex, where we'll be taking a look at some of these strategies. We're almost to the top of the tech tree, so we don't need to gather science for science's sake anymore. So, well, here's old me.
Patents, licensing, 5% science from contracts, 2,000 funds for each 1 unit of science, 5% science gauge fieldworks, 85 funds for each 1 unit of science. That's what we want. And we can commit up to 90%. Yep, 91%. Awesome.
So basically, we're going to trade in 91% of the science we gather out in the field for money, and lots of it, because it's always nice to make money, and we're pretty close to, like I said, hitting the top of the tech tree where we won't actually need to gather science points at all. So now that we've got that locked in, it's time to go ahead and put it into practice. And our first objective was the Origami 4T out in orbit of Saturn. We were actually supposed to get a flyby of Titan, but due to a mistimed burn and a pretty big screw up, we're going to have to come back to that in about 156 days because, well, yeah, I really botched that one, which made me sad because that was the big thing that I really wanted to do this live stream. So, switching to our backup tasks, we will jump out to the Harmonia Cupola module, which has just made its transit into Mars SOI. This was going to complicate things with the Origami 4T as far as timing and when it was going to arrive at Titan for its flyby, and when this needed to perform its propulsive capture burn here around Mars. So this actually kind of worked out in our favor. So this time we kept our butt in the sun, keeping those solar panels angled in correctly and our batteries charged so that we didn't just fall lifeless and dead onto the planet like we did last time. And our capture burn was nice and clean. We've only run that experimental engine for a couple of minutes, so we should have plenty of runtime left on that. And then I kept telling myself we're going to go do something else, we're going to go do something else. And then I went to make the inclination change, and it looks like it results in a close flyby of Harmonia Station. So, like, we might as well just go ahead and burn for broke, synchronize our orbits, and then go ahead and go for docking. We have all the TWR in this experimental engine, so it really shouldn't be... It's not like it's going to be a 15-minute burn to make this encounter. It's like a 2-minute burn. I did light the engine just a little bit early, but we will replot our node and then dial in our approach and just swing past it by a little bit. And then, of course, high thrust engine, it's easy to screw this up more than a few times, but we would eventually get ourselves on a good approach to Harmonia Station, and somebody left the spotlights on again, and we're just going to go ahead and deposit this cupola right up top to fill the void where the lab was supposed to go, but it didn't fit because I'm bad at building things. So we'll turn ourselves around, eventually get ourselves angled in, even angled the door out towards the in-between tile slot there, and then transfer over the rest of the resources from this... Well, it was supposed to be a resupply pod, but like all of the life support containers out here are full anyway. So we're just gonna dump what little fuel it has left, put just enough to deorbit this thing back in the fuel tanks, and then undock, burn that engine for just a second or two to kick it out of orbit, and then probably follow it all the way down, because, well, it's always nice when you can put in at least one explosion that is intentional into every KSP session. Aerodynamics pushing the... like a capsule, pushing it down. Well, anyway, yeah, here's old me. But maybe. I do also know that the speed of sound is different on Mars than it is on Earth. So maybe not, but yep. 2 kilometers fall. I don't think we're going to get below the Earth speed of sound. There's some of our debris. Smoosh. Boom. Well done. Good. And complete. And with a little more time left to kill, we would jump out to our Solar Ranger craft, which is supposed to see if there is a low sun biome. Yeah. We made a gravity assist flyby of Venus. We were going to try to set ourselves up to make another gravity assist flyby of Venus to lower our perihelion to well within Mercury's orbit, and then light this ion engine for absolutely years and years and years, or at least a year, because it has about a year of consistent runtime, and just to see how things would work out for us. So right now there's going to be just some tugging at nodes and a lot of figuring things out so that we can set up for our next flyby of Venus sometime in the future. But that's going to have to be in a future episode. So thank you so much for hanging out, everybody. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.